Have you ever heard two people argue so confidently, with one shouting that it is absolutely right while the other insists B is clearly wrong, and wondered whether the whole argument might be missing something important hiding in plain sight? Philosophy loves this kind of moment because it asks whether being loud, certain, or popular truly makes an idea correct, or whether confidence can sometimes disguise confusion. When someone says A is right and B is wrong, it sounds neat and tidy, like labeling boxes, yet real thinking often turns out messier than a perfectly organized shelf. Sometimes A and B argue about different parts of the same problem, which means both might be partly right while also partly wrong without realizing it. Other times A and B use the same words but mean different things, which turns their argument into a misunderstanding wearing a serious face. Philosophers enjoy slowing arguments down, peeling them apart carefully, and asking what each side actually believes instead of what they loudly announce. It is possible for A to be wrong, B to be wrong, and the truth to sit quietly somewhere else, sipping tea and waiting patiently. This happens often when people argue based on feelings, habits, or quick guesses instead of careful thinking. Bias can sneak in like an invisible prankster, whispering to A that they must be right and telling B the exact same thing. When both sides cling tightly to their ideas, they sometimes stop listening, which makes wrong ideas feel stronger instead of weaker. Thinking clearly means being brave enough to ask whether your own idea could wobble a little under pressure. Logic teaches us that disagreement does not automatically create a winner. Sometimes disagreement simply reveals missing information. Imagine two friends arguing about whether a mystery box is full of toys or snacks, when the box is actually empty. Both arguments feel strong, yet both miss the truth. This shows how assumptions can steer thinking without permission. Philosophy encourages checking assumptions, like checking your backpack before a long hike. Asking good questions can matter more than giving fast answers. When A says B is wrong, philosophy gently asks, why, and then asks why again. These questions are not attacks, but tools. They help ideas stretch, bend, or break if needed. Being wrong is not a failure in philosophy. Being unwilling to question is. Kids often understand this better than adults because curiosity comes naturally before pride moves in. When you ask whether both sides could be wrong, you open a new door. Behind that door might be a better explanation, a surprising answer, or a brand new idea. This habit builds critical thinking like a muscle. The more you question, the stronger your thinking becomes. Philosophy also reminds us that some questions do not have simple answers. Right and wrong are not always opposites. Sometimes they are neighbors sharing a fence. Learning to live with uncertainty can feel uncomfortable, yet it helps ideas grow. When people rush to pick sides, they might miss the bigger picture. Stepping back allows you to see patterns. Patterns reveal deeper truth. Philosophers often say wisdom begins when certainty ends. That does not mean believing nothing, it means being open. If A is right and B is wrong, asking questions still helps everyone understand why. If both are wrong, questions help find a better path. Thinking this way makes discussions kinder. It also makes thinking sharper. You stop fighting to win and start exploring to learn. That shift changes everything. Philosophy invites you to be a thoughtful detective instead of a noisy judge. You examine clues instead of picking teams. In doing so, you discover that truth is sometimes quieter than arguments. And often, the smartest move is not choosing between A or B, but daring to ask whether the real answer has been patiently waiting somewhere else all along.